everyone, what is good? Welcome back to the channel. This is Silver Hyena, and my air conditioning turned on just in time for me to start recording. Of course it does, but it keeps me cool in this hot Texas weather, so can I really complain too much? Okay, maybe just a little bit. So that humming noise in the background, that's just my AC. Anyways, for today's video, this is something a little bit different. As you might have guessed by looking at the thumbnail, I am doing a pretty big collaboration this time. It's with a Discord group I'm in called the Artist Connection, and if you're curious, I will have a link in the description below. So this is a collaboration on a much bigger scale, so it's like I'm hyped. I'm really hyped. Anyways, the theme for this month is fantasy. I wasn't even the one who suggested it, but I figured that's a good 90% of what I do anyway, so I'm all in. Anyways, what I'm going to be using today, I want to bring this back. Those of you who have been with my channel for a bit might recognize this. This is my custom-made watercolor palette. Look at that. What the? I haven't opened this in a while, but what happened? Hang on a second, something weird is going on. Hang on. Okay, as you can see, a couple of my paints have been dislodged from their little homes. Come on, this is very hard to do one-handed. As you can see, I haven't really used this in a while, and I think it shows. Yeah, get back there, and hopefully this one, this thing is like sliding all over the place. There we go. Get back to your home. There we go. And then this was the little sheet I made a very long time ago. I might need to do this again with the colors actually on there. I just slapped together a 3x5 card and called it good. I've learned a lot more since I made this little watercolor palette. But yeah, these are my nice Daniel Smith paints, and one not Daniel Smith paint. I think it was the Azo green. That one was M-Gram. Anyways, let me just get back to my original monologue. Although I think I was almost over, so like, you know what? How about we just get down to business? Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so fixed a technical difficulty. I've mentioned the group, the Artist Connection on Discord. Oh yes, one little thing I forgot to mention. I will have a link in the description below for that. Yeah. Oh. Okay, where was I? Oh yes. As you can see, my Prismacolor Col-Erase pencils are already out of the box because of a previous video. However, since I'm not gonna put them in the box just to do the fancy box pour again, I'll have to think of something else real quick. Wow, that was pointless. But this isn't. Let's get to the sketching. Okay, so I'd like to take a moment to not only mention the Artist Connection on Discord again, but I'd also like to shout out my fellow collaborators and their YouTube channels. Ready? Here goes. Aurora's Art World, Weblight Dreams, I've mentioned her before on this channel, multiple times in fact. Christina May Art, Lori Faye Art, I hope I said this right. If not, I apologize. Mid Artsy Crafty, Katie Vowan art, again, I hope I pronounced that right, Letty Gras Tea Party, The Creative Lulu, and finally, Melody Ross, Mel's Galleria. Wow, that's a mouthful. This group has honestly been a wonderful place to just talk art, share art, and even talk about some deeper issues. It's one of the nicest and most welcoming groups that I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of. So really, y'all should go and check it out. Now then, when the theme of fantasy was unanimously decided, I knew that I needed to do a dragon. I know, another dragon. Again with the dragons. About 50% of the time or so, drawing dragons. But please hear me out, I beg of you. I just love dragons. I have since I was like 5, I think. If I recall, since this was a long time ago. It was, of all things, Super Mario on the N64. My first ever gaming system. Yes, I just dated myself. I was transfixed by Bowser. My little kid mind was blown. Even if Bowser isn't exactly a dragon per se, he was my gateway into the world of awesome fire-breathing reptiles. Yeah, this is something that I don't recall sharing with anyone, really. Now I've told all of you how it all began. You should feel special. Bowser, from Super Mario 64, spawned a love that has lasted into the present. On a side note, I never could beat that dang game. Honestly, I was, and still am, absolutely dreadful at those sorts of games. Anyways, the other thing I remember was, once I learned the word dragon, and my obsession was growing, my mom showed me the covers of these books that she used to read. I think it was Dragonlance. My mom watches my videos, so I'm sure she'll correct me if I'm mistaken. But these books had the coolest covers. Absolutely gorgeous dragons, one red, one blue, and one green, that I do remember. Keep in mind that this was a time before we had internet access, or if we did have internet access at that time, it was super limited and was on a dial-up connection. Does anybody remember that? If you think your internet is slow now, you didn't use dial-up. So anyway, I couldn't just hop online to get my dragon fix. Trust me, my mind was blown when I discovered the D&D monster manuals. Oh yeah, and the Warhammer guide. I remember I perused that quite a bit too. Pretty much I read these things all the freaking time. Even before I knew how to actually play the tabletop RPG. I just liked reading about the different creatures, especially the dragons. I have nerdy parents. I mean, I got my parents into Pokemon, and on top of that, Dragon type is my favorite Pokemon as well. Or I should just say that Dragon type is my favorite Pokemon type. Wow, I sounded very silly right there. Moving on. The other thing I might as well mention, I started collecting Beanie Babies after I discovered from a book or magazine that a kind stranger let me borrow that there was a dragon Beanie Baby. The first dragon plush that I had ever seen. I think I was 7 at the time of that one happening. About a year or so later, my dad did some work using that, at the time, newfangled internet thing, and he helped me get my very own Magic the Dragon. She's a little worse for wear, and the tag has since fallen off. Sad face. Ugh. But I still have her. She was my first dragon plush. I'd go nuts if we ever came across anything with a dragon on it. In some ways I still do. I'm just more controlled about it. But I still get excited whenever I see a dragon anything. And now that you know where my love of dragons spawned from, perhaps now I should talk about my other love featured in this video, Daniel Smith watercolors. Now, at the time of recording this video, I haven't used my Daniel Smith paints in a while, but oh my gosh, these paints are absolutely amazing. While Daniel Smith does have a high price tag, they are worth every penny you spend. These are the loveliest watercolors that I have ever used. Similar to how Ohuhu markers can do no wrong, Daniel Smith watercolors also can do no wrong. First off, a little bit goes a long way. They're heavily pigmented, mixed together beautifully, and are in general pleasant to work with. One of the things that I love about these paints is that they lift easily. Just wet the problem spot, get a tissue, gently blot, and it's as close to an eraser as watercolors get. The other thing is just how nicely these paints blend together, be it wet on dry, wet on wet, and if it's possible, dry on wet. Okay, that last one I don't think is a real thing. It was a joke. I'm so happy that my dad pretty much gave me a nice little starter set of these watercolors, and that my mom let me play around with hers. Seriously, watercolors could potentially bump alcohol-based markers out of the top spot for my favorite art supply. Jeez, I don't remember what that base layer blue I used was. It might have been cerulean, but I'm not sure. But whatever color it is, oh my gosh, I'm in love with that color. If ever there was a perfect shade of blue, this mystery color is it. I want to say it's cerulean, but I just don't remember. This was one of the colors that my mom had the tube, and I was like, oh, can I just have some? And she just put a little bit on my palette. The other color to invest in, Payne's Gray. This is such a perfect shade of gray blue. Fantastic for shadows, phenomenal color. I love it. So, if you'd like to live out a painting fantasy, consider trying out Daniel Smith paints. By the way, I'm not sponsored, but I'd like to be. I also think that I need to get a new white gel pen. This one was just, acting up. It was driving me nuts. The ink flow kept cutting off. It was almost as annoying as broken colored pencil leads. But let's not get onto that unpleasant topic. Okay, the page, maybe, yeah, it really wrinkled up there, but this is just something you gotta expect with watercolor. It just comes with the territory. Anyways, finally done. Oh my gosh, this was very ambitious. This was probably one of the most ambitious projects I've done in a while. Anyways, well, the theme was fantasy, so I give you fantasy. And I still want my own pet dragon. Yep, I do. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, be sure to check out the Artist Connection on Discord. Again, link will be in the description below. And while we're at it, why not check out my Instagram at SilverHyenaArt. And even more, I will have links to all of the other videos that were part of this collaboration in the description below, so you can go and check out and see what all the other fantasy pieces are. I mean, go check them out. It'll be fun. Anyways, this is Silver Hyena signing off. Stay creative, everybody. Bye.